Hey guys, I'm Ryan Cook, 2022 team member of Team Breaking Aces, and this is my 2022 early in the bag. For the bag that I'm using the Grip AX5. It's one of their newer bags. It's got a ton of room for any of the discs that you might want. It's also uh, pretty durable. It's under warranty, so something that I've really enjoyed using. It's still pretty new. I've only used it probably, I don't know, 10 rounds or so far, but I really enjoyed it a lot more than my old Commander bag. So it's been good to have so far. So I'll start with the putters. So putting putters, I'm putting with the Soft Electron Indies. These are the Team MVP James Conrad ones. Really good so far. I've putted with the Indies probably for 6 months now, I would say. Enjoyed them. These are brand new. Well, brand new for the year anyway. I've used them all year so far. They go in the chains. For throwing putters, I also have indies that I throw. This is another James Conrad Soft Electron Indie. It's pretty beat up now, so I'll throw it if I want to do a putter turnover, something that'll go right, or if I'm trying to jump putt and I need that anti-jump putt around something. This is a putter that I'll go to for that. My other Indy that I bag is a Neutron Envy. It's pretty beat up at this point. I've had this in my bag probably a year now. It doesn't really have that Indy fade anymore. It holds pretty straight. So I really like it for if I'm trying to hit straight tunnel shots in the woods, or just a nice soft gentle backhand approach. This is a disc that I'll go for. So that's as far as throwing putters. Putt and approach, I have two that I use, one for forehand, one for backhand. Forehand, I use my Titanium Zone. It's a zone. Everybody knows kind of what a zone does. Feels really good for forehand, really nice for backhand approaches, or if I'm trying to go uphill even, I'll sometimes do a little forehand anti-flex and let it kind of ease on and land next to the basket. I don't like zones for backhand very much. For some reason, they just don't come out of my hand clean. So what I found in that place is this pig. So this is an R Pro pig. Love it for standstill backhands, for approaches. Even if I want to take a one-step run up backhand approach, I'll use it off the tee. If I'm trying to hit a hallway and fade left off my right hand backhand, it's been really good so far. It's starting to get a little beat in, so I may end up cycling in a new pig later on this season. But right now, it's doing everything that I would hope it would do. For the mid ranges, I have. Let's see, I've got 5 mid ranges, 6 mid ranges. So for this and sort of order of stability, my most overstable mid that I have is my Crystal Andrew Presnell drone, Crystal Flex drone. It's I'll use it for forehand some if I want to do a slight flex and then have it dive, but a lot of times I'll use it for that sort of like backhand flex through a tunnel shot. Not really something I'm going to go to if I'm trying to get distance, or if on my mid range, or even if I'm trying to do like a subtle fade. I'll use instead my I have a Proto Malta that my buddy gave me a while back. It's been really good in that slot for that. Either I want a slight flex and have it fade, or if I'm trying to work it through and have a nice left moving disc once I let it go. In that sort of straight slot, I have my ESP Flex Buzz. This is A3 stamp, so shout out to Ann Arbor area Flying Discs. I hated the Buzz for the longest time. I tried probably 10 different buzzes and never could make them work. I know they're super popular, so I finally said, all right, I'll try this one again, because this one's, it's got a pretty stamp on it. We'll give it a go. Dead straight. It does exactly what I put it on. It does everything I hoped a straight buzz would do. So it's worked its way in the bag probably just a month ago. and it's gonna stay for sure. So I've really been leaning on it here lately. Even some gentle turnovers, I've been using it for that shot as well. So been digging it. As far as understable, I have two. I have my Archer. The Archer is not always going to be in the bag. It's sort of depending on what the tournament I'm playing is looking like. For the tournament upcoming, there's a couple of shots that I want that turnover, but I want it to hold and glide. I don't want it to turn over and bite. The Archer's really been good for that for me. I can even have a pretty controlled turnover if I'm going uphill. So it's been pretty good for that shot for me. But my typical turnover mid-range, and that's pretty much always in my bag, is my Z Meteor. I have bagged this for a long time now. It's getting pretty beat in, but it does exactly what I want it to do every time. So if I want that really gentle turnover, if I want that hard turnover, if I want a hyzer flip to turn, I mean, this thing just does it. Love this disc, lean on this disc a lot if it's a right moving hole and I don't feel comfortable with my forehand on that shot, or if my forehand's not feeling sort of up to par that day. And the last sort of, mid to sort of fit fairway, the 6-speed MVP relay, it's great. I use it for a couple different shots. Its main purpose for me is a flex forehand, sort of like a low speed, hit a tunnel, sort of work its way back towards the basket. If it's a couple 100 feet, even 300-foot shot, this is kind of what I'm looking for. If I'm going uphill, or I'm trying to throw a hyzer that's going to flip up and hold and then fade towards the basket, I'll also use the relay for that. Because it's a fairly understable disc, it's pretty easy to get the power you need without having to throw hard, so it lets me stay more accurate with it. So this Cosmic Neutron plastic, it's been really good. I've had this for a while. It's kind of gone in and out of my bag, but I think it'll be here to stay for this season. All right, so moving on to sort of more of the fairway slot. I'm going to start with, again, the more overstable side. I have 3 Raptors. Raptors, great disc. Really love it for the overstable finish. Specifically, my most overstable one is this brand new, it's a Crystal Glow Raptor from Ledgestone. It's got the Ben Callaway stamp. Really beefy. I can throw it on forehand. It's going to go right every single time. I can start it out on Annie, let it flex out. If I rip on it, I can get it to kind of come up a little bit and ride, but it's still gonna finish pretty quick. So really good for that beefy slot. I'll spike hyzer it as well on a backhand if I want it to hurry up and finish, but I don't use it too much for that. This is predominantly going to be forehand. If sort of in between stability, a little more beat up than that Crystal Glow, is going to be my Z Yuli Raptor, Crystal Raptor. It's a little more beat in, a little more seasoned than that one is, so it's still a Raptor, still very beefy, but not as beefy as that. If I go to forehand it, it will flip up. I can flex it pretty nicely, but it also have that good Raptor finish. And then the last Raptor I have is just the ESP Raptor. Love it on my backhands, so it gets that Raptor flight. Don't really use it on forehand too much. That's more with the other 2 or 4, but it's a good backhand hyzer disc. Really just kind of works into that one spot for me. I will spike hyzer with it as well. And it does a pretty good job at that. Really, even if it's a shorter hole, 240 even, I might use this disc. Use it sort of that 240 to 280 range. I'll use it for a spike or a hyzer to just kind of ride it out. Next in stability order is a Titanium Undertaker. I don't throw this disc a whole lot, but it's there when I need it. If I want something that's going to hyzer flip and ride, or if it's maybe a little windier and I don't want to use my Mantis that I'll talk about in a minute, this disc will work its way in. Again, doesn't get thrown a whole lot, but I want it there when I need it. The 2 other fairways are my Mantis. They're both Big Z Mantis. I throw these the most in the fairway slot. especially if I'm trying to hyzer flip or do like an S-line through the woods or tunnel shots. That's what these are for. The orange one's a little more stable than the red one. I've had the red one more beat in, spin the bag a little bit longer. Again, sometimes the red one might come out of the bag depending on what I need for the tournament, but in general they'll both be in there, and they're depending on the amount of hyzer flip or what exactly I'm trying to do, I'll use either, just depending on that situation. I also can do some turnover shots with them and let that have that slow fade in, get some decent distance with it too, but more often than not, they're for those hyzer flips. Right, moving more into the distance slot. My favorite disc that I have are my Vultures. Best driver, in my opinion. I bag 3 of them right now. Sometimes I'll have a 4th in depending on what I'm doing. I love them for every type of shot. So in stability order, I have my Big Z Vulture. It's pretty beefy as far as Vultures go. If I throw it on a hyzer, it'll hold it. I can do a little flex line with it if I rip on an Annie. I'll also sometimes tomahawk this if I'm trying to get over something, or if I you know, if I feel like I have something in the way, I might do that with this disc. Forehand, less often with the Big Z one. I'm more often going to use a different one of my Vultures for that, but this is really just that sort of stable Vulture disc for me. Now my titanium Vulture, this is the 2022 Ledgestone. I do really like on my forehand. That's where I'm going to throw this the most, is off my forehand. Flex 300 feet all day. Love this disc. I can work it around trees. It's pretty workable. You don't have to worry too much about turning it over because it is a Vulture, so it has stability to it. You can just get it to go with whatever line you want it to off your forehand. So really enjoyed having this disc for that purpose. From the backhand perspective, I can do the exact same thing with this TI Vulture. This Vulture I've had for a while. It's beat up. I can hyzer flip it. I can turn it over into the ground if I wanted to. This thing's pretty flippy now for a Vulture. So if I ever lose this one, I'll be really sad because I don't have anything else that flies like this disc. So anything I want to hyzer flip, or if I want to have a turnover flex line or whatever I want, this TI Vulture will do that. So Vulture's best disc. Other 10-speed, I have my Heat. If I want a big turnover, if I want a hyzer flip to turn, if I want a roller, whatever it might be, that's what this disc is for. It's one of those discs that I don't throw a ton, but when I need it, I want it, and it's gonna have a pretty permanent spot in the bag. So it's been in there for probably 4 or 5 months. I had a different one that was starting to get beat up a little bit, so this one's kind of taking this place. But it's a good disc to have when you need it. Okay. As far as max distance for me, I don't have the fastest arm speed, so sort of the fastest disc for distance for me that I'll throw is my Scorch. This is just a first run Z Scorch. S-lines, big distance for me. That's when it's going to come out. I'm not going to throw it that often in wooded courses, but if I'm trying to be out in the open field, or if I need to get some distance, this is the disc that I'm going to do that with. I like to start out on a hyzer, let it flip up and ride a little bit to the right and have that nice S-line. So it's worked out really well for me so far. Moving on to sort of my windy workhorse, if you will. I have an ESP. This is an Alexis Mondahano Force. It's a Force. Being ESP, and I've thrown it a bit, it's a little more beat in, so I can work it a bit. It's not just complete beef meat hook. But if it's windy, I'm gonna throw this instead of the Scorch. It fits pretty well into that slot. Again, if it's a wooded course and pretty protected from the wind, I probably don't throw it very often. But if it's something on the open, I'm gonna need it in my bag. So those are sort of the discs that I use like the most. I do have a couple of utility discs that are in here. I've got a Nuke SS. I am only throwing this in 2 situations: either a tomahawk off or a thumber off the tee. If I feel like that's the best shot for me. Or every once in a while, if it's a big uphill hole, I might do a forehand anti-flex to try to get some distance off of it. But this disc doesn't come out very often. It's just strictly utility for me. And lastly, I had just worked this in, brand new. So the first run Captain's Raptor. Sort of kicked my tilt out of the bag. For now, it's just a really, really, really beefy Raptor. I'm not sure if it'll end up sticking or not. I need to work with it a little bit more. The tilt may find its way back in the bag. I do like it so far. If I want to have either a straighter tomahawk, or if I want to have something that finishes quick, this disc has been there. It's strictly utility. Doesn't come out often so far in my practice rounds, but again, it's something to have if you need it. So those are all for what's currently in the bag. I do have 3 other discs I want to highlight. These are just dependent on the situation. If it's really windy, you'll see these 2 discs come out. So this is my Andrew Presnell 2021 Tour Series. It's just a Z Force. A little beefier than my other Force, so if it's super windy or decent amount of wind, this will come out and just to be used for that reason. Or if it's really gusty, I might even pull out my Big Z Machete, just to help fight the wind. It's not something that I bag normally. It's just there in case it's a situation that I need that extra beef. And then lastly is I have a Z Punisher, the WC Glow stamp. So shout out to Sprout out in Washtenaw County. It's only used for flex forehands for me. If I want sort of max distance flex forehands, this is what I'm going to use it for. Sometimes it's in the bag. It really just depends on the course. Right now, I don't have a need for it for the tournament this weekend, so it's just kind of sitting on the side. But it works its way in from time to time. So, but I hope you enjoyed that. That's everything that I'm bagging right now. It could change in the next few months. So I'll do an update video later on. Feel free to message or comment below. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to talk about all things disc golf. So thanks for listening, guys.